A spin starts with a stall, and to this end, the pilot pulls back the stick. Then, just before the moment of stall, he uses full rudder to induce yaw, and his aircraft will settle into a stable spin. As indicated by the turn indicator, the aircraft is yawing to the left, and so he is spinning to the left. To recover from the spin, the pilot first applies full rudder in a direction to oppose the yaw as indicated by the turn indicator. Then, a short pause before easing forward the stick, keeping ailerons neutral. The aircraft quickly responds, and the spin stops. As soon as the rotation stops, the pilot centralizes his controls and recovers from the ensuing dive. The essential characteristics of the spin are fairly familiar. When spinning, there will be a spin axis about which the aircraft will be following a descending corkscrew path. In addition, there will be gyration about a vertical line, the body axis, through the center of gravity. For convenience, we can break down this gyration into components about the three aircraft axes. It will be yawing about this axis, rolling about this axis, and pitching about this axis. In a steady spin, therefore, the aircraft always presents the same face to the spin axis throughout the spin. It will be worth reminding ourselves of the recognition features of a spin. First, the instruments. The indicated airspeed will be fluctuating about a low average speed. The altimeter will show a rapid loss of height confirmed by the high rate of descent on the rate of climb and descent indicator, and yaw will be showing on the turn indicator. Outside, there will be a steep nose-down attitude with high rate of rotation and the direction of roll clearly visible. The spin characteristics for each aircraft type depend on many design factors. The aerodynamic forces acting will play their part in determining the spin characteristics, and so will the inertial forces produced in the spin. Any one of these forces may be strong enough to override all others, and a change in one may cause changes in some or all of the others. A study of all the forces is far beyond our present scope, so we'll consider some of the less apparent forces which are affected by modern design. In any spin, yaw is always present, and the reduction of yaw will be a prime recovery factor. As we know, the use of rudder in a spin affects the aerodynamic yawing moments. But we'll now study the less apparent inertial yawing moments. These moments depend on the distribution of mass throughout the aircraft. Aircraft of the type we've been studying have the masses fairly evenly distributed between fuselage and wings. For want of an accurate description, this is sometimes referred to as a conventional shape, and we'll use conventional in this sense here. Let's consider first inertia in the rolling plane. Inertia in roll, or A as it's called, is determined by the lateral distribution of weight about the center of gravity. We can represent this distribution by a gyroscope having the same inertial distribution and lying in the rolling plane. As we've seen, there is roll during a spin, and so we will rotate the gyroscope at the same rate in the same direction. Now, what do we know about a gyroscope? We know that when a gyroscope is rotating and a force is applied, say here, the gyroscope behaves as if the force had been applied 90 degrees removed in the direction of rotation. The gyroscope will precess in this direction. In the case of our spinning aircraft, the nose is pitching up, giving a torque in this direction on the gyroscope. The gyroscope behaves as if the force had been applied here, which is of course a yawing moment to the left. Already the spinning aircraft's yawing to the left, and so the inertia in roll, A, tends to encourage this movement, and therefore the resulting moment is pro-spin. Now let's consider the inertia in the pitching plane, inertia in pitch, called B. It again depends on the distribution of weight, but this time it is the longitudinal distribution of weight about the center of gravity. Again, we can represent this weight distribution by a gyroscope. This time, the gyroscope is in the pitching plane. In the spin, the aircraft pitches in this direction, and our gyroscope is rotating at the same rate and in the same direction. The aircraft is rolling to the left, giving a torque in this direction. As before, the gyroscope behaves as if the force was applied 90 degrees removed in the direction of rotation. Again, we have a yawing moment, but this time it acts in a direction opposed to the yaw of the spin. And so the inertial yawing moment due to B is anti-spin. So, of the two inertial yawing moments, that due to B is anti-spin, and that due to A is pro-spin. Whether the total inertial yawing moment is pro-spin or anti-spin will depend on the relationship between B and A. A ratio of B to A greater than 1 is anti-spin, and a ratio of B to A less than 1 is pro-spin. High-speed, high-performance specifications have obliged designers to make considerable changes to the general shape of aircraft. The fuselage has grown longer and heavier, and the wings shorter and very much swept back. The most advanced designs of today carry this tendency on to very short wings on a long, heavy fuselage. Now, let's consider the effect of these changes on our inertial yawing moments. The gyroscope representing inertia in pitch, because of the increased length and weight of the fuselage of the modern aircraft, will be much larger. Now let's apply the same rate of roll as before. The torque on the gyroscopes, 90 degrees removed in the direction of rotation, produces an inertial yawing moment which is much greater in the short-wing aircraft than in the conventional aircraft. And this is the anti-spin moment due to B. On the other hand, the gyroscope representing inertia in roll, because of the short wings, is now smaller. This time, we'll apply the same rate of pitch as before, and again, the force produced acts on the gyroscopes 90 degrees removed in the direction of rotation. Because the gyroscope is smaller, the resulting inertial yawing moment in the modern aircraft is also small. And this is the pro-spin moment due to A. So, An aircraft with the modern short wing shape has a smaller pro-spin yawing moment and a greater anti-spin yawing moment. This result, assuming other influences to be the same, means that a modern short-wing aircraft is less likely to enter a stable spin and will recover more easily if the controls are used correctly. So let's now consider the effect of this change of the B/A ratio on the controls during recovery from a spin. Take first the elevators, or flying tailplane, as in this aircraft. Down elevator produces an aerodynamic nose-down pitching moment, reducing the incidence of the spin, which of itself assists recovery. On the other hand, this will reduce the normal nose-up rate of pitch, and our gyroscope, representing pitch, will also slow down. This means that the anti-spin yawing moments produced will be decreased where there is a high B/A ratio. The reduction of the spin incidence also results in an increased rate of roll, which can, in a high B/A aircraft, be so marked as to hinder recovery. Moreover, in some cases of swept wing or delta wing formation, notably the javelin, the wing wake blankets the tailplane and elevators, and so reduces, or even in extreme cases reverses, the aerodynamic pitching forces. The recommended elevator position for recovery will therefore depend on many factors, but is less likely to be fully down in these high B/A aircraft. Let's now consider the ailerons. Even at the large angles of attack present during a spin, the application of aileron produces rolling moments in the normal sense. Aileron to the left, rolling moment to the left in this case. To balance this moment, the amount of side slip present will automatically increase, thus raising the outer wing. This new attitude will cause an increase in the rate of pitch up, and so an increase in the rate of rotation of our gyroscope, causing the anti-spin yawing moment to increase. So aileron applied in the same direction as the roll is beneficial in recovery, whilst aileron applied against the roll may so reduce the anti-spin component as to cause the overall yawing moment of inertia to become pro-spin, and to override the anti-spin effects of the other controls. This is well shown by the Hunter. Here, it's spinning to the left. The pilot is applying left rudder and right aileron with the stick held back. Now he applies right rudder and then eases the stick fully forward, maintaining the right aileron. The aircraft does not recover. The right aileron is dominating the other control surfaces and keeping the aircraft in the spin. As soon as he takes off the right aileron, however, the aircraft recovers, surely demonstrating the significant effect of ailerons in the more modern aircraft. As we've seen then, aileron may be a more important factor than rudder, which we must now consider. The major effect of rudder is aerodynamic. The application of right rudder in a spin to the left produces an anti-spin aerodynamic yawing force. Any yaw to the right so produced will again raise the outer wing, and once again the rate of pitch will be increased, which will result in an increase in the anti-spin inertial yawing moment due to B. Rudder, therefore, remains a powerful recovery factor in all types of aircraft. In summary, then, with an aircraft with a high B/A ratio, for spin recovery, the elevators may be less important than they were. The ailerons are more important and may be a stronger pro-spin or anti-spin factor than the rudder, which, however, is still a significant recovery aid. Also, although such aircraft are basically more reluctant to enter a stable spin, the position of the ailerons may override this reluctance. We've already looked at the recognition features of the erect spin. Now let's see briefly the difference between an erect and an inverted spin. Take an aircraft in an erect spin to the left. And let's have a good big pilot to make things easier. I want to make it easier still, we'll get him to raise his right arm. Now he will see his left wing falling and his right wing rising as the nose yaws to the left. That's to say, he's rolling and yawing in the same direction, to the left. Now suppose instead that the spin is inverted, but still following the same path. As before, the inner wing is falling and the outer wing is rising, with the nose yawing this way. It's not easy mentally to stand on one's head to appreciate this, so let's turn the picture over. Now we can see that he's rolling left and yawing right. So, when spinning inverted, roll and yaw are in opposite directions. The direction of roll clearly visible, and the direction of yaw shown by the turn indicator. For recovery from the inverted spin, the rudder and ailerons have the same effects as for the erect spin. Rudder to oppose yaw, as shown by the turn indicator, and ailerons applied in the same direction as the roll are both anti-spin. Elevators down is the rule in the Hunter. In the past, it's always been elevators up, but for the reasons we saw when considering the erect spin, elevators up may in some aircraft inhibit recovery, and this applies here with the Hunter, a high B/A ratio aircraft. As aircraft development goes on, behavior in a spin and response to controls may well change continually. In every case, the pilot's notes should be consulted on whether the aircraft is cleared for intentional spinning, and on the correct use of controls for recovery from both the erect and the inverted spin. The problem of the spin is always new for each new aircraft, and it's been our purpose to illuminate some of the principles on which the solution for each individual aircraft has been and will be based. The aircraft quickly responds and the spin stops. As soon as the rotation stops, the pilot centralizes his controls and recovers from the ensuing dive. The essential characteristics of the spin are fairly familiar. A spin starts with a stall, and to this end, the pilot pulls back the stick. Then, just before the moment of stall, he uses full rudder to induce yaw, and his aircraft will settle into a stable spin. As indicated by the turn indicator, the aircraft through the center of gravity. For convenience, we can break down this gyration into components about the three aircraft axes. It will be yawing about this axis, rolling about this axis, and pitching about this axis. When spinning, there will be a spin axis about which the aircraft will be following a descending corkscrew path. In addition, there will be gyration about a vertical line, the body axis, is yawing to the left, and so he is spinning to the left. To recover from the spin, the pilot first applies full rudder in a direction to oppose the yaw as indicated by the turn indicator. Then, a short pause before easing forward the stick, keeping ailerons neutral.